Okay, how to thrive on Substack. I'm reading this post aloud to you. I've got my cat on my lap. Here we go, let's get into it. So, this is my 3-step process for consistent growth on Substack, plus an embodiment practice for each step. At the end of each month, I respond to a reader Q&A, and this month a reader asked me a very important question about growing on Substack. Here's her question: how to attract more people to sign up for our Substack and to engage and upgrade. And I thought, girl, this question deserves an entire post dedicated to it, so here we are. This is my 3-step process for growing consistently on Substack and reaping the rewards of the work that you put in. Plus, even if you're not interested in Substack success specifically, the embodiment practices that I share in this post are very useful towards the achievement of any goal that you may have. So if you're interested, read along, listen along, check out those embodiment pieces specifically that I'm going to share here. So you can watch the video for this post here where I include some additional sides as I read this post aloud, or you can listen to this post as written in the Substack app. Okay, getting into it. Step 1 for success on Substack: envision your best scenario. The technical step of this is that you want to set up your publication for success. So you set up your publication branding, align your color scheme, pick a few colors that work with your branding and be consistent across those bits. I personally love to use the colored links setting in Substack so that when I include a link, it shows up as brown. That's just an option. I think the other option is like bold, but I like the color because you're adding touches of color in your publication. You also want to create a logo for your publication and set your profile picture, which shows your pretty face. So set a profile picture that speaks to you so that people can connect with you and get to know you. All of this branding is meant to give an authentic sense of who you really are and who your publication serves. On that note, your bio on your Substack profile is very important. You want to ensure that your bio reflects who you are and who you serve. And perhaps it also offers a playful glimpse into your other interests. For example, my bio is writer on a small island, beach and garden fairy, reflections on creativity, whimsy, and embodiment. And I've included a little image there. Then, once you've set up your Substack profile, begun your branding, created those images, included your logo in your branding, maybe a word mark at the top of your publication, and you've done your profile, you've set your profile image, now you're prepared to tailor your publication's about page and your welcome emails to match your branding. Your publication's about page presents who you are to the wider world. People will find it when they visit your site, so you want to make sure that it reflects who you are. I've included a little snapshot of my about page there for reference. And your welcome emails should similarly present who you are. The welcome email is the first sweet little note that new readers receive in their inbox from you, so be sure that you love what they will receive. I personally have subscribed to a lot of publications that just send out the template standard about page, and that's fine, but I find I really connect with the publications who have customized their about page and who offer something special in each about page, so I do that in my welcome emails as well. In their welcome email they offer a little something special, like a bonus to readers. And you can add these bonuses to your welcome emails, such as direct links to some of your most popular posts, which is what I do in my welcome email. Or you could include a freebie PDF if that is something that you offer to new readers, something you want to offer. You could also provide links to other sites. Say you're on Instagram and YouTube as well. In your welcome email, you can introduce your readers to other ways to connect with you. I use my about page as the template for my welcome email so that there's some recognition and cohesion there, because just in case new readers don't see my about page, they're going to get that same information that's in the about page in the welcome email. So I think it's important to have that cohesion and similarity, and that has the benefit of if someone reads your about page, they like you, they subscribe to you, then when they receive the welcome email, they choose to subscribe, they will also get that reminder of like, oh, this is who this person is, and I remember reading something like this, and so that cohesiveness carries across both of those pieces and really allows people to get to know you. I recommend checking in on your about page and your welcome emails at least quarterly. Give them both a read through, check your about page, and make any necessary cuts, additions, and updates as needed. Same thing with your welcome email. Make sure that it reflects like what you're currently offering to your readers, the main themes of your publication, etc., your current branding, etc. And keep in mind, none of this is necessarily set in stone, so you don't have to have it all figured out to get started. So don't worry about getting started. You can create from what you like now, and you can always change it later. Your branding can evolve with your publication over time. Personally, over my 4 years of writing on Substack, I have changed my publication name and my branding 4 times. And it was necessary every time. I think I finally found what sticks, but each phase was wonderfully beneficial to me. I learned so much by trying different branding, really figuring out what I wanted to present. I learned so much from it, but I recommend just start. Know that it's not set in stone. Now is the best time to create from, and you can always change and evolve as you go. I offer a Set Up Your Substack for Success consultation to writers new to the platform as well as those established who seek my direction in creating meaningful updates. So if you'd like support with this step of the process in terms of setting up your Substack, you can book your Set Up Your Substack for Success consultation with me right here, linked in the post. I'll also include it in the caption. And once booked, I follow up to schedule our call. Look forward to working with you. A side note, to respond directly to my reader who asked this question, and this is helpful to anyone else who's also looking to really perfect their branding and what they offer. If your publication shares primarily scientific research, as this writer does, that's great. Scientific research is awesome, very needed. And also, it's important to imbue your publication with your personality so that people get to know you. They connect with the writer behind the information that's being presented and shared. This does not necessarily mean that you need to share personal stories as entire posts, but it does mean that there's perhaps space for you to add in personal anecdotes here and there, personal details, and or you could focus your personal stories into Substack notes, which is a strategy I talk about a bit later. But here I'll just say, whenever a piece of your research from your work comes to mind, say it springs naturally from a connection in your life, you could perhaps type those up as Substack notes in the moment, or you could keep a log of Substack notes ideas. I imagine you have conversations with folks regarding this research in daily life. What interesting bits of those conversations can you copy down and share? And any notes that show discrepancies in understanding and can point to how your publication brings the solution and how your deep dives into the scientific literature shine a light on the truth will be so powerful. So pick up those little conversational bits, pick up, any discordant things, anything that people don't understand and you want to clarify, and I think that would be great stuff for Substack notes, and then you're referencing your articles. Here's the embodiment practice for step 1. So step 1, I said the technical piece is that you're setting up your publication for success in this envisioning your best scenario phase. The embodiment piece here is that you want to spend some time in silent meditation with the intention to receive clarity on what the best scenario is on Substack specifically for you. Not for anyone and everyone else, but for you. So prime your mind with these questions. Go into a quiet place. You can take these questions, take a moment to receive and think and see what comes to you over the coming days, over the weeks, and jot down what you have. So prime your mind with these questions. Who am I on Substack? How do I want to present? What am I here to share? And who am I here to serve? And then you'll have those answers which inform your branding. If you like, you can ask your guides and angels to send you clarity. Open your heart to receive and be patient. Clarity arrives at just the right time, and record what you receive and action what you receive. Step 2 for Substack success, create with your best scenario in mind. So the technical step here is that you want to post consistently, at least once a week to see steady growth, and get to know your Substack dashboard. That's my rice cooker. Sorry, it went off early. So strange. Okay, get to know your Substack dashboard. Check in with your analytics. Book a success call with yours truly, linked here. I can walk you through all those details, but getting to know your dashboard and practicing with publishing posts and the different kinds of posts will really help you operate with your best scenario in mind, get going, get moving, get some momentum behind you. And to take full advantage of Substack's network effect, be sure to post to Substack notes. And this is something I learned rather recently, which I think is an important note here. Don't include direct links to your articles in Substack notes. I wish I had known this sooner, but we live and learn. The algorithm deprioritizes notes with links for some reason. So instead of linking to your articles, you want to treat Substack notes as its own form of mini content. Perhaps you pull some lines from your recent Substack posts and you paste them into notes. Maybe you even convert these lines from your post into pretty graphics to catch people's eyes, and you share that to Substack notes. Maybe you ask questions on Substack notes. Maybe you give out calls to connect with your ideal readers or your next creative community. By this point, we've probably all seen those Dear Substack, please connect me to posts, which have gone viral with like 12K plus likes and such. If you haven't yet, check out Substack notes and go connect with folks, because a lot's happening there. And here's the embodiment practice for step 2 on, creating with your best scenario in mind. The technical step was posting consistently, taking advantage of the Substack network effect and posting to notes. The embodiment practice here is some reflection and mindset work. So it's time to get out your journal and write by hand. Open that creative channel, y'all. In terms of creating your best scenario in mind, here are some prompts. If your aim is to grow, how large do you want to grow? How large can you envision your growth? What amount of growth are you ready for now? And then the next phase. If your aim is to be a full-time writer, next question, what does your schedule look like? Realistically, where does writing on Substack currently fit into your life? And are there any areas where you would like to expand that or reduce the time? Expand or reduce the amount of time that you spend on Substack, depending on your goals. Third question, third prompt. What inspires you and gets you writing? Alternatively, what slows down your writing? I would suggest reflecting on these and track especially what inspires you and what slows your process. Track that mindfully, notice the patterns, seek more of what inspires you, and set an intention to reduce inputs that slow your progress, and take those necessary steps. Know that change starts with a decision, and you've made the right decision in taking the time to reflect on these questions. Positive changes compound over time and with consistent effort, so keep at it, you've got this. Here's the third step, very, very important, perhaps my favorite step, is to balance structure and creative freedom. So Substack is the place where creative people gather for real, authentic exchange. It's the place where writers get to go deeper and become more expressive than traditional news media outlets have allowed. There's an authenticity to Substack that I don't want us to lose, an authenticity that is really worth protecting. And this is a side note, but I do see bots entering the platform. I do see regurgitated Pinteresty photos and AI-generated content. As a photographer and writer, I share from a place of authentic creativity, and all my photography and writing is original. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, like how are you navigating the rise of AI-generated content on Substack, and who are the truly authentic writers I should connect with? Please share in the comments because I want to connect. That note aside, Substack remains the best place on the internet where writers are creating on their own terms, because you don't have the same content restrictions as traditional media and newsletters, other magazines, and other platforms. So the key is finding this balance of structure and creative freedom. I started this publication in pretty much complete creative freedom 4 years ago. I started with posting once a month, and then now 4 years later, I've pivoted multiple times, and I now operate in a structure that allows me to post weekly, see consistent growth, and feel fulfilled in expressing my creativity. So here's my formula to strike the balance. Structure first, then creative flow within the structure. The technical step of this is that you want to set up structure where it matters and allow freedom everywhere else that it's helpful. So here are 2 key structures that I like to have set up to support my consistent growth on Substack. Number 1 is identifying my client archetypes. Identifying my client archetypes. Knowing who you are writing for. It's so important. Most of the popular advice for business owners is to identify their ideal client avatar and write for one person that you serve, basically. I found that difficult to narrow down to just one type of ideal client, so I combined the concept of my ideal reader avatar with another concept my business coaches taught me, the 4 stages of buyer awareness. Therefore, I use the structure of my 4 client archetypes. And let me know if you want a deeper dive on this topic specifically. I'm happy to provide that. So the formula for finding my 4 client archetypes is this. Ideal client avatar plus the 4 stages of awareness equals my 4 client archetypes. And this is helpful for me. It's expansive because I'm I have 4 groups of people or 4 people that I'm writing to, not just one, This way I can speak to my readers at each stage of awareness, which in my business is a natural cycle that we all move through. And this structure helps me know who I'm speaking to and when I'm speaking to them. Thereby, my content cycles through speaking to each of my 4 client archetypes, and this gives me a natural cadence to move through when I am considering what to post next. For example, this post is the end of the month post, and it speaks kind of to my wise woman reader archetype. The woman who is farthest along in her journey. She knows that she wants more success on Substack, and she's here to get it. Maybe she's already been publishing and writing there. Maybe she's been a writer for a while, and she's just seeking to go deeper. And also, in each of my posts, I make sure to include some value to every reader archetype. So all 4 of my readers, all 4, depending on what stage of awareness they're in, even if that bit of value that I provide is just weaving in some encouragement and some lightness and some love, and maybe referencing back to other posts that serve the other client avatars or reader archetypes better, I don't subscribe to the belief that we all need to make a content engine that serves our business. Rather, I like to be guided by my creativity and allow space for intuitive posting. Because I love to receive guidance and I love to create in the moment, in the present moment. My monthly structure allows for that creativity to flow within the cadence that I have set out and flow in that cadence of talking to those 4 client types, like I said. So each month makes its own kind of music. It's beautiful. So the second part to this step, the second structure that I find is so ideal and helpful is setting up a monthly cadence. The monthly cadence or posting schedule helps me know what to expect and plan for each month, week by week. Yours may look different, but you can take what resonates here and leave the rest. Here's the cadence that is serving me and my publication best this season. So week 1, I start out with a monthly themes and reflections post. This is priming the month, and this is dedicated to the youngest reader, the novices and the seekers of my reader archetype. And then week 2 is my free write post. this post for me is where I pour in most of my creative freedom. This is where I get to maintain that creative freedom for me to reflect on the monthly themes or share what is on my heart and perhaps share a book update or two. And this free write post is really dedicated to, it speaks more to like my buyers in the second and third stages of awareness. They know me, they're connected to me, they're more of a seeker, and they're in the practice of embodiment. Similarly with week 3, it speaks to not only the novices, it's pretty expansive, but like week 3 can kind of touch on all 4 client archetypes. Because week 3 is when I do a podcast interview with an expert guest. So this can speak to new people, novices, seekers, and the wise woman archetype, which I'll get to. So the interview with the podcast interview with an expert guest is where I showcase my interview skills, and it's always connected to one of the monthly themes. So it references back to the first post of the month. So we're kind of keeping with a theme throughout the month. In week 4, which you're reading now, I wrap up the month on a lovely note. The Q&A post, which directly responds to questions that readers ask, often has to do with the monthly theme, which June was all about like connection and belonging and socialization. And today, here we're talking about growing on Substack and building a community, so it's very timely. And you're listening to this post now, which is week 4. It's very fitting. The structure of this monthly cadence for me provides the space for me to create within. It contains the movement, the flow, and it holds your creative freedom gently and with care. The embodiment practice here is that you want to spend a bit of time reflecting on how the energies of yin and yang are present in your life. Is there a right balance of yin and yang? In Taoist philosophy, the yin represents the receptive container, keywords being structure, stillness, rest, right? While yang represents active flow, keywords being flow, movement, transformation. These two energies, you know the symbol, the yin and yang, form a harmonious and dynamic loop where structure contains energy and energy reshapes the structure. So this is how your publication can naturally evolve over time. As I continue with this monthly cadence, I might find that it has to shift over time, but it's working for me for now. And you can check the balance of yin and yang energy in your life. As you're thinking about your publication, the structure that you have, the monthly cadence that you want to set up, it might also be helpful to think about the balance of how much structure you have and whether it feels rigid or against like how much creative freedom you're giving yourself. Like I said, that's why the free write week is really important to me, because I love knowing that I just have a week where I can kind of pour out from my heart and give in generosity to people and see if it resonates with people, which I love. So check the balance of yin and yang in your publication and also in your life. Here's 3 key areas just as examples. In creativity, and I recommend that like maybe as you hear these words, just open your heart and question now, take a few deep centering breaths, and just see what resonates and note anything down. So in creativity, a daily ritual and or guiding boundaries, yin, provides your creativity the structure within which to brainstorm, innovate, and flow, yang. So what's the balance between your creativity and structure? What's the balance between your guiding boundaries and flow? Whereas, for example, in exercise, a balance of strength training and active movement, yang, with restorative practices like yoga or meditation, yin, encourages physical harmony and healing. Your body needs the stimulation of strength training and it needs the gentle recovery. See what resonates there. And in energy work, qigong, Settling and grounding, yin, before initiating a movement, yang, ensures that your movement is powerful. I also refer to this as finding the desired feeling first in my birthday post linked here. So I think it's very interesting and important to reflect on the balance in your life and in your publication. If you're feeling some sort of stagnancy somewhere or lack of growth, you can question and think about this balance of yin and yang and what changes you want to make. So we've gone through 3 steps with embodiment practices and technical steps for each. I'll just do a quick overview. Step 1 was envisioning your best scenario. Step 2 was creating with your best scenario in mind, creating consistently and holding the vision of your best scenario. And step 3 is balancing structure and creative freedom. Now, I have included an optional step 4, which I really love. Optional step 4 is connect, connect, connect. So Substack has a strong network effect. The more that you show up and connect here, the more this platform really works for you. So use this network to find your readers and collaborators, connect with folks on Substack notes, host each other on your podcasts. I know I've been doing that and I love it. Cross-post if you like, collaborate, invite collaborations, and I'd love to meet more of y'all. So please introduce yourselves in the comments and connect. Please comment here. Here's my introduction just to get the ball rolling. If we haven't met yet, hello, I'm Sophia Claire, and I am dedicated to co-creating my dream life with my very handy tools of embodiment, self-love, and my faith to support and ground it all. I previously worked as a national grants consultant, but I'm now working to be a full-time writer and a best-selling author. My first novel is forthcoming. I'm very excited about it. And who do I serve? I'm passionate about encouraging young women through the developmental years, especially because I know that so many of the embodiment and self-love tools that I learned through my developmental years can serve them very well. And I talk about this more in my About page and my other posts. I'm also so grateful to serve healers, writers, and creatives who are farther along in their healing journey and desire to connect in community. My offerings are always timely, and as a garden fairy myself, I offer wellness guidance that changes naturally with the seasons. I'm also immensely grateful for the support of wise women in my life and the way that these women continue to give back to their communities. We all know that healing is not linear. I see healing more as an energy, like a healing energy that we carry with us in our day-to-day. Change is the only constant. So I share embodiment practices so that we can respond in mature and or informed and or regulated ways to the new things that life presents us, or the old muck that comes up and needs to be processed, transmuted, and transformed. And a lot of this embodiment work is about transformation, which is why I love it. Instead of reacting to what happens to us, we respond with awareness. This work is so valuable and so impactful, and I promise you, you reap the dividends. You reap the benefits and you reap the dividends from spending time in this creative inner garden. You have your own creative inner garden, and I welcome you here into mine. You can draw all that you need from the wellspring of inspiration that I share here. You can leave anything that does not serve you, and you can enter deeper into community if you feel called. So to receive posts, subscribe here, join hundreds of readers, soon to be thousands, in Sophia's Inner Garden to receive all of the seasonal insights, creative inspiration, and embodiment practices that your heart desires. And thank you so much for reading by Sophia Claire. Thank you for watching the video. I apologize for the couple times I tripped up in my words, but like I said, this is authentic. I also bumped the camera a few times, but this is authentic. This is real. This is me creating in real time, and really pouring forth from my heart a lot of this pretty lengthy information I've shared here. Really detailed. It was a longer post for me this week, but I love it. And this post is public, so please feel free to share it with someone that you know will love it and benefit from it. I hope this post was immensely helpful. I believe it is. Helpful to those growing on Substack, to those using their embodiment practices towards another goal, and those doing both at the same time. As always, I'd love to hear what you think. You can leave a comment, you can introduce yourselves in the comments, and if you have any follow-up questions, feel free to send them my way. You can message me here. With warmth and sincerity, Sophia. Ciao.